Imagine you are 17 years old, living in Georgia, and you have a massive dream. You want to get your commercial driver's license, or your CDL, the very second you turn 18. To you, absolutely nothing is cooler than the idea of driving those massive 18-wheelers across the country, seeing the open highway, and being completely independent. Luckily, your dad is a veteran truck driver who has been doing this for decades, so you beg him to let you tag along to get some real experience. Finally, your dad agrees to let you join him on a run up to North Carolina. Now, your dad is a great guy, but he is also incredibly strict. He has always been very protective of you, and he rarely lets you go anywhere alone, especially at night. So getting to go on this road trip feels like a huge step toward freedom. The drive from Georgia to North Carolina is pretty smooth. You arrive on the exact same day you left, but your delivery is not scheduled until early the next morning, somewhere around midnight or 1 o'clock. Because of this gap, your dad decides to pull the truck into a highway rest area for the night. The parking lot is absolutely packed with massive semi-trucks, but the rest area building itself is completely deserted. This is because almost all of the truck drivers are already asleep in their sleeper cabs, trying to get rest before their early morning deliveries. The moment your dad parks the truck, he is exhausted. He crawls into the back cabin and falls fast asleep almost instantly. But you are a total night owl. You are sitting in the passenger seat, wide awake, watching the fog roll across the empty pavement. By the time 2 o'clock in the morning rolls around, you realize you need to use the restroom. You also decide to bring your razor with you so you can line up your mustache. You figure since the rest area is completely empty, you can go inside, take your time, and not have to worry about anyone bothering you. So you step down onto the cold asphalt and walk toward the brightly lit brick building. When you open the outer door of the restroom, you see that the facility is split into 2 separate sides, one on the left and one on the right. You decide to head into the left side. But the moment you walk through the doorway, you realize you are not alone. Standing near the urinals is a man, and this man is absolutely massive, at least 6 feet 4 inches tall. He does not look homeless, and he does not look like he is on drugs. He is just standing there, completely still. You feel a quick wave of unease, but you tell yourself to stay calm. You walk past him and go straight into one of the stalls. While you are in there, the restroom is completely silent. After a couple of minutes, you walk out of the stall and go over to the sink to wash your hands. You look in the mirror, and you notice that this giant man is still standing in the exact same spot. He has not moved an inch. At this point, you just want to get out of there. But right as you turn to head toward the exit, the man suddenly unzips his pants and pretends to start using the urinal. It feels incredibly forced and unnatural, like he is trying to put on a show of normalcy. It sends a shiver down your spine. You decide you do not want to walk past him to get out of the restroom. So, to make it seem like you have left the building, you walk out of the left section and duck into the right section of the restroom. You stand in front of the mirror on the right side and pull out your razor to quickly line up your mustache. But barely 10 seconds pass before you hear heavy footsteps. You look up, and the exact same giant man walks into the right side of the restroom. Your heart immediately drops. There is absolutely no logical reason for him to be on this side. He is clearly following you. The man starts walking directly toward you. Your survival instincts kick in, and you quickly hold up your razor so it is fully visible. The moment the man sees the razor in your hand, he freezes. He stops dead in his tracks right behind you. He has this look of utter shock on his face, almost as if he had a specific plan in his head, and the sight of that razor completely ruined it. He did not expect you to be holding a blade. You are terrified, but you know you cannot show it. You force your hands to stay steady, and you continue to line up your mustache in the mirror, keeping your eyes locked on his reflection. After a few agonizing seconds of silence, the man walks over to a urinal on this side and again pretends to unzip his pants. When you glance at him, you realize he is not actually using the restroom. He is staring directly at you. To try and defuse the tension, you give him a polite nod, and he nods back. Then the man turns and walks into an empty stall. You think maybe he is finally leaving you alone, but when you look at the reflection in the mirror, you see him standing completely still in the corner of the stall, staring directly at you with wide, unblinking eyes through the gap in the door. It is like something out of a horror movie. You pretend not to notice. 20 seconds later, he steps back out, goes to the urinal again, and continues his bizarre act of pretending to use it while watching you. The second you finish, you put your razor firmly in your hand, keeping the blade ready to defend yourself if you have to. You are 5 feet 9 inches tall, and you are not weak, but this man is 20 years older than you, and has a massive physical advantage. You take a deep breath and walk right past him, keeping your eyes forward. You burst through the exit door into the cool night air. You see security cameras near the entrance, which gives you a tiny bit of relief. Thankfully, the giant man does not follow you out. You run back to the truck, climb inside, and lock the door. Your dad is still snoring in the back. You are trembling with adrenaline. You message a friend and tell them what just happened. Your friend replies a few minutes later and suggests that you go back to the restroom while on a FaceTime call with them, just to see if the man is still there. For some reason, you agree. You walk back to the restroom with your friend on the screen, but the restroom is completely empty. The giant man is gone. You walk back outside, still talking to your friend. As you step into the parking lot, you notice the separate parking lot behind the rest area, which is reserved for passenger cars. Sitting there, completely alone in the dark, is a single red car. Its headlights are on, shining brightly, but the very second you turn your head to look directly at the car, the headlights instantly shut off. The car goes completely dark. You cannot see who is inside, and you do not know if it was the giant man or someone else waiting for him, but the timing is too perfect. You run back to the truck, climb in, and spend the rest of the night wide awake, staring out the window at the empty parking lot. You never tell your dad about what happened that night. You know that if you tell him, his incredibly strict and protective nature will kick in, and he will never let you go outside alone again until you turn 18. You keep the secret to yourself, but you are left with this lingering, terrifying question. What was that giant man planning to do in that empty rest stop? And what would have happened to you if you had not been holding that razor? For our second story, we are moving to the bustling streets of New York City. Imagine you are a young woman in your early 20s, and you have lived in the city your entire life. Navigating the massive transit system, the MTA, at any hour of the day or night is completely second nature to you. You do not scare easily. Your daily commute from the city to your home takes about 2 hours each way. It is a grueling journey that involves taking 2 different trains, a 30-minute bus ride, and then walking 5 blocks down a dimly lit residential street to get to your front door. After doing this for years, you do not even think twice about it. But there are 2 specific nights that you still replay in your head. The first night happened on the train. You had just managed to step onto the train car right before the heavy doors slid shut. Because the train is crowded, you decide to stand near them. You have your headphones in, listening to music, trying to unwind after a long day. But through the music, you can faintly hear a voice. You look over and see a homeless man standing nearby, and he is staring directly at you. He is saying something, but you assume he is just talking to himself, which is pretty common on the subway, but he does not stop staring. His eyes are locked onto yours, and his face is filled with anger. You decide to take out one of your earbuds and ask what he said. The second you do, the man lunges forward slightly and screams a horrific, angry insult directly at you. Your heart immediately starts pounding. You can feel the heat rushing straight to your face and ears, your skin burning with pure adrenaline. You look around the train car, desperately trying to make eye contact with any of the other passengers. You are silently begging for someone, anyone, to acknowledge what is happening and help you. But everyone does the exact same thing. They look away. They stare at the floor. They look at their phones, completely ignoring your distress. At the next stop, even though it is not your stop, you quickly get off and move into the next car over, hoping the man did not notice where you went. 2 stops later, you finally see him step off the train. Only then do you realize you had been holding your breath. The second instance happened when you were in grad school. On this particular night, your classes did not end until 8:30 in the evening. By the time you caught the bus home, it was well after 10 o'clock. Late-night bus rides always feel different, quieter, and more unpredictable. On this ride, you are listening to horror stories on your commute. The specific story you are listening to is about a woman being followed. So when you get off the bus, you remember lowering the volume and becoming extra aware of your surroundings. The final part of your commute requires you to walk past a couple of stores before turning down a dark residential dead-end street with terrible lighting. One of the stores you pass is a Popeyes. You remember debating whether or not you wanted mac and cheese, but you had already passed the store and was almost at the end of the block before deciding to turn around and go back. That is when you noticed the man from the bus. Up until that moment, you had not paid attention to him at all, but the second you changed direction, he literally stopped walking. He froze and stared at you wide-eyed. It made you incredibly uneasy, but you went into Popeyes anyway, hoping the bright lights and employees would give you some safety. They had almost nothing left because it was so late, so after a minute you left and continued heading home. It was not until you were halfway down the block that you noticed him again. He was standing right at the entrance of the darker street you had to turn down, just waiting there in the shadows. At that point, your pace slowed immediately, and you called your brother. He is usually never home, so the fact that he answered honestly felt like a miracle. He could hear something was wrong from your voice alone, because the second you told him you were by Popeyes, he immediately said he was coming to meet you. Knowing your brother was on the way, you finally turned down the dark street and passed the man, and then you heard footsteps behind you. The man had started walking too, and he was getting closer with every step. He stayed behind you, matching your pace, and then he quietly told you that he loved you before mumbling other things that you could not understand. At that point, you decided it was safer to stay somewhere with light, so you walked back to the store area and waited outside a liquor store